It's really rare to see the people of Twitter come together against a common enemy, but recently it happened. A Twitch partner with just under 10,000 followers recently went viral on the platform after they berated and belittled one of their viewers when they asked, "Hey, where have you been?" And they responded with, "Well, my mum died." And yeah, it is literally that ridiculous. Now, you've probably already seen a lot of people talking about this. It's kind of the hot topic on YouTube and on every social media platform, really. But there have been a couple of updates today and a couple of other things that were sent to me specifically, which I wanted to talk about in this video. But before we get to all of that, let's have a quick recap of everything that's happened so far. So someone called Miss Nerdy Curvy went into this guy's chat after being away for some time. And when he said, "Hey, where have you been?" She said that her mum had passed away. And this was his response to that.
Oh my God. Well, tell you what, Mr. Dirty Curvy, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to talk about it in my chat because it's Friday. And that is a whole big bucket of bummer. And I'm sorry for your loss, but we're not doing that in my fucking chat. You said, no, that's fine. You asked, so I told. No, I didn't ask you to tell me the biggest fucking bummer news in the world. I said, hey, what's up? How are you?
What really got me the first time I watched this was the straight up lie. You know, she says, "Hey, no, it's fine. I won't talk about it, but you asked me." And he says, "No, I didn't. I asked you how you were." No, you didn't. You literally asked, "Where have you been?" Also, I always think that when somebody says sorry for something, but then follows it with a but like straight away, it always kind of undermines the apology. So he says, "I'm sorry for your loss, but we're not going to talk about it in my chat." It kind of feels a bit lackluster when somebody does that to me. It kind of feels like you don't really mean the apology. You know, you're just saying it because you have to. That might just be me, but that's the vibe I always get from that kind of thing.
You know what? Let me give you a little bit of a lesson, Miss Nerdy Curvy. When something really, really bad is going on in your life, and in a public forum, someone asks you, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" There are two acceptable responses. Good, and you know what? I'll make it through. That's it.
This man giving lessons like he's a university professor when he doesn't seem to understand the basic social cues. When somebody tells you that a close family member has passed away, the absolute irony of it seems to be lost on him.
Look, Mr. Curvy, I'm just subtly trying to tell you.
Subtly? Subtly? I think you need to look that word up.
Unloading really heavy news in people's chats on Twitch is not like good etiquette. It's not the place to do it. That's all I'm trying to tell you. That's it. I figured this is a good opportunity to inform you.
Off the back of this clip going viral, a lot of people have been kind of reevaluating the concept of trauma dumping because that seems to be what really annoyed this guy. You know, yeah, to an extent there is a thing in that. You don't trauma dump. That you're like, yeah, true. A lot of streamers want to keep their vibes high while they're streaming. They don't want to talk about really heavy stuff unless they're specifically, you know, putting aside time to do that, which some people do. The key difference in what is actually trauma dumping and what this was is that this wasn't a random message. Okay, Miss Nerdy Curvy didn't come in and be like, "Hey, my mom just died." That's not what happened. You asked a question, you got a response. Now, following this interaction on this guy's stream, Miss Nerdy then uploaded the clip to Twitter and it went viral. The basic consensus seemed to be that this guy just completely lacked any empathy in this situation. And to be fair, at the start, it actually seemed like this guy was willing to own up to his mistakes. He tweeted, "In response to Nerdy Curvy / my reaction to the news she shared in chat while I was live, my apologies to her. That was a cunty reaction. I shouldn't have been such a douche. I was just annoyed from the repeated trauma dumping that had been happening that week. My mistake." Seems like a thing that can happen to anybody, you know, a lot of pent-up agitation and anger builds up, and somebody unfortunately just takes the brunt of that, and he seemed to understand his mistake and apologize for it. Excellent. Awesome. We can all move on with our days, and that should be the end of it. Well, it just didn't. Because he then released an apology video in true content creator fashion, and it was just so bad. Personally, my favorite part was this.
That this type of thing is most certainly frowned upon. Dude, I'm getting follows right now. From Joe JCKS. Bro Chacho, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, maybe we should just, you know what? Fuck it. We're not going to cut this out. Let's one and done, I like to say. One and done.
Look, I get the appeal of wanting to show that you can do things in one take. It's something I'm yet to master. But that really doesn't apply to an apology video. You should have cut that out. Now, in the video, he did, to be fair, maintain that he was sorry for how he reacted and he was sorry for hurting Miss Nerdy's feelings. But then he also did double down on the fact that he thought and maintained that she was in the wrong for what she did. And I just want to be clear about this. Miss Nerdy did nothing wrong in this situation. It was just simply somebody asking a question and somebody responding to the question. Like, imagine you just hanging out with someone and they go, hey, where were you last Tuesday? And you say, I was at a funeral for my nan. And then they just punch you in the face. It's basically the same energy. And many people who are on his side have said that, this is his space. He can do what he wants with it. He can set whatever rules he wants. And to be fair, that largely seems to be his defense as well, which, to be fair, is true. But your viewers are still real people. And what you don't have permission to do is treat them like shit. If you sit there and berate somebody for simply answering a question that you asked them, you're probably going to catch some flack for that. Interestingly, the streamer then ends his apology video by self-promoting, which is already kind of weird, kind of feels like the wrong place to do that, but he actually manages to make it worse.
If any of you would like to check out the channel, that would be fucking tits. That would be fucking, not fucking tits, but it would be like fucking tits.
What?
If you do swing by, all I ask is that maybe, just maybe, you don't bring in any drama or trauma or heavy news or baggage into the chat, because, it's happened before and I've been known to fucking lose it when that happens. Cheers, guys. Have a great fucking day.
You're not exactly sending a great welcoming vibe here, to be honest. And it gets even worse because somebody uploaded a clip taken from one of his recent streams where he seemed to be praying to God about the certain type of viewer he wanted to come over to him.
And hopefully, like, if you could, and this is part of the prayer, just make them not be a bunch of whining pussies. If there's something you could do to make sure that, like, just a bunch of whining, sniveling, obnoxious, annoying little bitches don't come to the channel, that would be really fucking cool. But if they do, that's okay. That's fine. I can handle it. I'm just, asking the big guy for some help.
Now, overall, this apology video went down about as well as a fart in an elevator, and this guy is still facing backlash. Now, when something like this comes to light, I'm a firm believer in doing your own research before you form a full opinion about it. Because let's face it, people can lie. People can bullshit. And it's kind of too easy nowadays to just jump on a hate train without really thinking about what it is you're doing or what it is you're hating on. But literally 5 minutes of research and one conversation with one of this guy's former viewers told me that this guy has a history of kind of being a shitty person. He sent money to people with unsolicited messages such as daddy's little girl. He's called a viewer a piece of trash when they tried to reach out to him about feeling uncomfortable in his community. He's weaponized his entire community to go and send hate to somebody on Twitter because they apparently owed him money. He's made a joke about the murder of a baby, and to be honest, I could probably go on. And most of this stuff was sent to me by somebody who used to watch them, but there were two things that really caught my attention in what they sent over. The first one was this.
Dude, it's all about gaslighting. It's all about, I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm a big fan of gaslighting. Look, if you've never done any gaslighting, just go ahead and do it. Now, it takes some serious commitment. It takes a little bit of confidence. You can't gaslight without just a little bit of confidence. You got to come over top. You got to gaslight the hell out of them. I don't care who it is. Whatever. You got to have the confidence. You just got to come over top and gaslight the hell out of them.
I just don't know how anybody is supposed to believe or trust you when you're openly promoting gaslighting. That feels like something which it's very easy to fall on the right side of the conversation about. And yet here you are. The second thing that caught my attention was when him and a viewer of his made a joke about 9/11. And one of his other viewers kind of said, hey, that's not cool, don't like that, and called him out on it. And this was his response.
At least apologize. A joke about 9/11? Dude, I'll make those all day. Let me just say right now, jokes about 9/11 are funny 24/7. Okay? You hear me?
Has it been like a decade?
It's been more than that. And by the way, who gives a shit?
He then goes on to justify this by comparing it to a story that Ricky Gervais told about how it's good to laugh at things like this. But when somebody is disagreeing with you and saying that something makes them uncomfortable, the last thing you want to do is chew their head off in front of your audience. And to be fair, I would imagine that millions of people would probably agree with the guy who found it uncomfortable, so it's not exactly like he's alone in that sentiment. He then goes on to actually ban the person who called him out and says this about them.
Look, here's the problem. Hitman has bothered me for so long. Hitman has been a little fucking thorn in my side for so fucking long. Like, honestly, he's just so annoying. And he knows it. And he's bothered me for fucking over a year. And he can't take a joke about 9/11? Go fuck yourself!
And then literally like 60 seconds later, when this person reaches out on Discord to explain why they were uncomfortable by the joke, apparently they said they were Saudi and therefore it really didn't sit right with them, he says this.
Look, Hitman, you need to learn a lesson. You're still banned today. I'll unban you tomorrow. Hitman, I like you, but you know for a fact, you know that you purposely fuck with me.
You're literally flip-flopping about more than a Magikarp using Splash here. You went from describing somebody as a thorn in your side to saying, hey, I like you, man. Like, pick a side. Interestingly, this actually leads us on to the last update about this whole Miss Nerdy situation that I wanted to share with you guys today. A clip was taken from a recent stream of this guy where he says this.
I didn't unload on her because her mom died. No. I treated her like shit because I don't like her.
Oh, if you wanted to just put the nail in the coffin and just say goodbye to the whole Twitch career that you spent your time building up, this is a pretty good way to do it. Hey, you know all those things I was saying earlier about how I was just reacting to the trauma dumping? That was my bad. I just kind of got annoyed with that. I apologized to this person for hurting their feelings. Yeah, I'm going to throw all of that out the window because the whole reason that I was actually going to town on this person and just berating them in front of my entire audience was because I didn't like her. What? How do you sit there and think that that's a good stance to take? How do you let those words leave your mouth willingly? It just doesn't make sense to me. This whole thing seemed to come around after somebody responded maybe a bit too harshly towards somebody trauma dumping. But there are two things. One, this isn't trauma dumping, right? This was an answer to the question. I do feel like on Twitch recently, the concept of trauma dumping has become very misconstrued. You know, as soon as anybody goes into anybody's chat and says something that's not remotely positive or even a little bit sad or depressing, they're accused of trauma dumping and almost shunned from the community for doing it. But people have lives that are going to be good and bad. People are going to have good and bad days. They're going to have happy days. They're going to have sad days. Yeah, it's your stream. Yeah, you want to keep the vibes up. But if you ask somebody a question and you open that door, you got to be prepared for the answers, whatever they may be. You know, if you don't want the answer, then don't ask the question. And two, I feel like everything we've seen about this guy so far has just proven that this trauma dumping scenario, as he puts it, was just an excuse for him to treat somebody like shit. He does it frequently. And after watching some of this guy's content, after seeing all of this stuff, after speaking to people who used to be part of his community, what really stands out to me, the kind of conclusion and the vibe that I take away is that he doesn't really see his viewers as people. He sees them as numbers. You know, he just doesn't seem to actually care about the person on the other screen and care about the fact that they are going to have real lives with real things happening. And to be honest, it's such a shame to see. You know, this guy's a partner. He has almost 10,000 followers. You know, these are accolades that most people can only dream of getting when they start streaming and will probably never get. And to see somebody who just will willingly shit on people in their community without really thinking about it is kind of crazy to me. This guy is apparently a full-time streamer. So I feel like the one thing that this guy really needs to get into his head and take away from all of this is that without his viewers, he wouldn't have a job. Without his viewers, he wouldn't be able to pay his bills. And he really needs to treat them with much, much, much more respect than what he's currently doing. And on that note, to everybody who supports me on my streams on YouTube, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And that will do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this guy. And I've blurred this guy's name. I've taken his identity out, as I always do in my videos. Please don't put his name in the comments. We don't need to. If you know who he is, which you probably do, fair enough. But we don't need this to be a place where we continue the hate train that seems to have started in other parts of the internet. So for now, guys, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for being here, and bye for now.
So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never, you know I'm taking that crown from you.